students, welcome to the lecture series on international business, and this is the last part of regional economic integration topic, and this is part 8. I am Professor Soma Sen Gupta, Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. In this lecture, we are going to discuss again the integration efforts among countries in Asia. We have already discussed SAARC and the agreement SAFTA, but now we will discuss SAFTA and ASEAN in detail. SAFTA is South Asian Free Trade Area. SAFTA is an agreement reached on January 6, 2004 at the 12th SAARC summit in Islamabad, Pakistan, and it is the outcome of SAFTA. So, the seeds of SAFTA was sown in the form of preferential trade agreement, that is SAFTA, and later on from preferential trade agreement they moved towards free trade area, and that is SAFTA. Now, it created a free trade area of 1.6 billion people then in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, the Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka to reduce custom duties of all traded goods to zero by the year 2016. So, that was the proposed target for SAFTA. Now, you can understand when this heavily populated region becomes a part of a free trade area, then the benefit would have been huge. Why? Because the demand for different products from different countries or of the member nations would have been great, and with the removal of custom duties, the whole of the region would have seen a multiple level of growth. So, that was the idea behind SAFTA. The SAFTA agreement came into force on January 1, 2006, though it started in 2004, the talks started in 2004, but it came in force on January 1, 2006 and is operational following the ratification of the agreement by the 8 governments. Now, if you remember, in SAFTA, Afghanistan was not part of SAFTA, but in SAFTA, the Afghanistan is also part of SAFTA because it came much later in comparison to SAFTA. SAFTA required the developing countries in South Asia, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka to bring their duties down to 20% in the first phase of the 2-year period ending in 2007. So, you can see that initially it started with decreasing the tariff duties. In the final 5-year phase ending in 2012, the 20% duty was reduced to zero in a series of annual cuts. The least developed countries in South Asia, that is Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan and the Maldives, had an additional 3 years to reduce tariffs to zero. So, they were given a kind of a provision that they can reduce tariff on their products to zero in additional 3 years. India and Pakistan ratified the treaty in 2009, whereas Afghanistan as the 8th member state of SAARC ratified SAFTA protocol on 4th May 2011. Now, what were the objectives of SAFTA? First, to promote competition in the area. When all the member nations will be having no kind of custom duties or tariff duties, then the products manufactured in all the countries will compete among themselves and the customers will benefit out of that because they will get the best product at the best price or the most reduced price. To provide equitable benefits to the countries involved, to benefit the people of the countries by bringing transparency and integrity among the member nations. To increase the level of trade and economic cooperation among the SAARC nations by reducing the tariff and barriers, to provide special preference to the least developed countries among the SAARC nations. Actually, barring India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka, others are least developed only. To establish a framework for further regional cooperation to maintain free trade agreement among member nations. So, in nutshell, if we see, the objective of SAFTA was more of regional economic cooperation and improving the trade between the member nations and reducing the tariffs. Instruments to ensure cooperation among SAFTA members: trade liberalization program, rules of origin that we have discussed in case of SAARC also, institutional arrangements, consultations and dispute settlement procedures, safeguard measures, any other instrument that may be agreed upon. So, these instruments would have ensured that the cooperation among the SAFTA members would be maintained. So, if again the SAFTA's map is similar to SAARC, because when Afghanistan became a member, then naturally the whole of the region, 8 countries, they became SAFTA member nations as well. Now, after SAFTA, now we have discussed in detail SAARC and SAPTA and SAFTA, and we found the flaws with SAARC, the benefits of SAARC, and how SAARC has virtually stopped holding summits after 2014. Now, we will discuss another Asian regional economic integration effort, and which is much successful than SAARC, and that is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is popularly known by its acronym, that is ASEAN. ASEAN is an economic union comprising 10 member states in Southeast Asia. It promotes intergovernmental cooperation and facilitates economic, political, security, military and educational cooperation. ASEAN strives for socio-cultural integration among its members and other countries in Asia. ASEAN also regularly engages other countries in the Asia Pacific region and beyond. A major partner of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, ASEAN maintains a global network of alliances and dialogue partners. It is considered as a global powerhouse and the central union for cooperation in Asia Pacific. So, this is known as a global giant, the ASEAN, because the economies in ASEAN member nations, we can say, they are growing at a much faster rate than any other economic integration. It is involved in numerous international affairs and hosts diplomatic missions throughout the world. Now, let us discuss the history or founding of ASEAN. Association of Southeast Asia was formed in 31st July 1961, and this was the first stage of ASEAN. A group consisting of Thailand, Philippines and the Federation of Malaya, they became the members of this small association, that is Association of Southeast Asia. ASEAN was created on 8th August 1967 with 5 countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. Later, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, Cambodia joined ASEAN. Now, after this ASEAN, some more members joined ASEAN, and that is why that is known as ASEAN plus 3. In 1990, Malaysia proposed the creation of East Asia Economic Caucus composed of members of ASEAN, China, Japan and South Korea. So, that is why ASEAN became ASEAN plus 3. It intended to counterbalance the growing US influence in Asia Pacific economic cooperation and Asia as a whole. However, the proposal failed because of strong opposition from the US and Japan. So, that was the idea behind ASEAN plus 3, to control the powers of or work of US in ASEAN markets, but it failed. The work for further integration continued, and the ASEAN plus 3, consisting of ASEAN, China, Japan and South Korea, finally was created in 1997. Now, after that, ASEAN plus 6 came into picture. So, East Asia Summit included ASEAN plus 3 as well as India, Australia and New Zealand. So, then it became ASEAN plus 6 because the initial 3 plus India, Australia and New Zealand became the members of ASEAN. So, the group became ASEAN plus 6 and stands as the linchpin of Asia Pacific's economic, political, security, socio-cultural, architecture as well as the global economy. So, you can understand how powerful ASEAN has become because of the type of membership it has. The initial ASEAN members were in themselves fast growing nations, and then China, Japan joined hand, and finally India, Australia all became the member of ASEAN. Codification of the relations between these countries has seen progress through the development of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, a free trade agreement involving the 15 countries of ASEAN plus 6 excluding India. RCEP would in part allow the members to protect local sectors and give more time to comply with the aim for developing countries members. The economies in this region that have not joined RCEP are Hong Kong, India, Macau, North Korea and Taiwan. India temporarily does not join the RCEP for the protection of its own market. So, when you become a part of the regional economic integration, then naturally you have to abide by whatever rules are there, and then you have to open your market also. So, India was reluctant to do that, and that is why initially they did not join RCEP. Now, aims and purposes of ASEAN: to accelerate economic growth, social progress and cultural development in the whole region, to promote regional peace, collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest, to provide assistance to each other in the form of training and research facilities, to collaborate for better utilization of agriculture and industry, to raise the living standards of the people. Now, you can understand this is Asia Pacific and a very big region. So, if they cooperate together, then the whole region is bigger than other regional economic integration blocks, and they have the potential to become the topmost block in the whole world. To promote Southeast Asian studies and to maintain close beneficial cooperation with existing international organizations with similar aims and purposes. Fundamental principles of ASEAN, let us discuss that. The first is again the principles of any regional economic integration are more or less similar. So, mutual respect is one of them. A cornerstone of ASEAN is the mutual respect for the independence, sovereignty, equality and territorial integrity of all its members. So, this is the first principle. Second is non-interference. ASEAN members do not interfere in the internal affairs of one another. So, they will not talk on domestic issues and politics of the member nations. Peaceful resolutions. So, if there is a difference or dispute among member states, that is resolved through peaceful means. Renunciation of force. There is a commitment to not using the threat or use of force in international relations. So, that is another fundamental principle of ASEAN. Effective cooperation. The members are committed to effective cooperation in various spheres. And when we talk about the ASEAN community, the ASEAN operates through three pillars to promote regional integration and cooperation. First, ASEAN Political Security Community, ASEAN Economic Community, and ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. So, let us discuss each one of them in detail now. ASEAN Political Security Community focuses on promoting regional stability, security, and addressing transnational issues like terrorism and maritime security. ASEAN Economic Community aims to achieve economic growth and development by fostering a single market and production base, reducing economic disparities and facilitating trade and investment. And then the last one, ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. This works to promote understanding and cooperation among diverse cultures and societies within the region, focusing on issues like education, public health, and human rights. Now, if you remember a few years ago, all the ASEAN member nations, the representatives of ASEAN member nations or the head of states, they came to India and they were the chief guests, all of them were the chief guests of Republic Day parade. Operational characteristics of ASEAN. So, it has a decentralized structure. The organization has a decentralized structure with the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta, that is Indonesia, serving as the administrative center. Collaborative and non-confrontational, ASEAN emphasizes casual, non-confrontational and collaborative interaction among its members. Dialogue and consultations, ASEAN Regional Forum ARF and regular meetings provide platforms for dialogue and consultation on regional issues with both member states and dialogue partners. Unified voice, ASEAN provides a platform for the member states to act as a unified voice on global issues and to pursue common interests in international forums. So, that is another operational characteristic. Now, coming to ASEAN Vision 2020. At ASEAN Vision 2020, which was held in Kuala Lumpur, three major pillars of single Asian community were established as discussed earlier. So, those communities that we have just discussed, they were decided upon in this ASEAN Vision 2020. So, hence we are repeating it, that the pillars are political security community, economic community, socio-cultural community. So, the agreement include matters like banking integration framework, financial integration roadmap, food security, internet market, agreement on trade in services, mutual recognition agreements and single market. So, they covered many newer areas or newer markets or the upcoming markets. Now, the agreements include matters like monetary union, free trade, tourism. These were the main areas of ASEAN. So, ASEAN, this is a very interesting map and it showcases the initial ASEAN members and then the ASEAN plus 3 members, and finally when ASEAN plus 6, when India also joined the ASEAN along with 2 more countries, then it became ASEAN plus 6. So, whole of this area is ASEAN, and it is if we compare SAARC with ASEAN. So, ASEAN is a much matured community and it has a bigger coverage, and the member nations have a peaceful arrangement between each other. So, there is no case of like war or something like that between the member nations, except for again India and China, the two big partners of ASEAN. But still ASEAN is way ahead of SAARC in terms of regional economic integration efforts. So, this is about the integration efforts which took place in Asia. And if we go through the literature, you will find many more cooperation and multilateral agreements that is taking place in Asia, and then you must come across many other regional integration efforts. But these are the major ones, that is SAARC and ASEAN, that we have discussed, and under SAARC we have discussed the SAPTA and SAFTA. So, let us summarize the whole of the lecture now. So, SAFTA, first we have discussed, but the reference of SAFTA came in the previous lecture when we discussed that there was a body, that is SAFTA agreement, which took place, and that is about South Asian Preferential Trade Agreement. So, that was the first stage of regional integration among the SAARC countries, where they that was the arrangement to reduce the tariffs and all, and have a preferential trade agreement. But then it was repealed, and in its place SAFTA came into picture. So, SAFTA is an agreement and which is known as South Asian Free Trade Area. So, it was reached on January 6, 2004 at the 12th SAARC summit in Islamabad, Pakistan. SAFTA required the developing countries in South Asia to bring their duties down to 20% in the first phase of the 2 years period during 2007, and later on to 0% after certain period of time, although some relaxation were given to the least developed nations. So, additional 3 years were given to them so that they can reduce their duties to 0. The objectives of SAFTA is to increase the level of trade and economic cooperation among the SAARC nations by reducing the tariff and barriers. So, this goes well with any regional integration cooperation or bloc, that the main idea is to increase trade and economic cooperation by reducing tariff and barriers. Then after this South Asian effort of regional integration, that is SAARC, SAPTA and SAFTA, we discussed the Southeast Asian nations, how they integrated, and that was ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is an economic union comprising 10 member states initially in Southeast Asia. It promotes again intergovernmental cooperation and facilitates economic, political, security, military and educational goals among the member nations. ASEAN was created on 8th August 1967 with 5 countries, that is Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand, and later Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar and Cambodia joined. So, making it the 10 nation ASEAN. Then ASEAN plus 3 came into picture, which was formed in 1990 when Malaysia proposed the creation of East Asia Economic Caucus, and composed of the 10 members of ASEAN plus China, Japan and South Korea. Then came ASEAN plus 6, which was formed when India, Australia and New Zealand joined the association. So, this is the situation. Actually 16 member nations are there, but still we call it 50 nation ASEAN. And ASEAN, if we compare it with SAARC countries, then we can see that if we compare it with SAARC cooperation, then ASEAN is much ahead in terms of the volume of trade, the amount of work they have done in reducing the tariff and becoming a kind of a free trade zone for or preferential trade zone, which has not only covering Asia but the Pacific as well. But still we can say that it is lagging behind in many respects when we compare it with the European Union. European Union can be considered as the a kind of a standard regional economic integration, and all the other regional economic integration, they strive towards achieving that position of European Union, which is very difficult to achieve, because European Union enjoys a different kind of culture, with all the member nations having the same capabilities, economic background, and status. So, that they are much ahead of all these, all these Asian regional economic integration, but still we can say ASEAN is slowly reaching to that position. These are certain references like C.B. Gupta, Sumati Verma, that I have been giving you, but the material, e-material is also available on various platforms. Then Chaturvedi's book is there, Hill and Hult's book is there, and EPG Pathshala, they are also providing very nice material on international business, which is applicable for MBE. Uh, I believe you have understood this topic, and this was a very interesting topic, and have a very nice day, good read. Thank you so much, students.